Can be big, can be small. In fact, actually, we are all freelancers because our commissions go like that one. So this is the business revenue that come in. It's not steady, but can you make it steady or not? Can you make it steady or not? For example, there's this 50,000 projects coming in, then after that 3 months don't have, then another 20,000 come in, right? Instead of all this money go into your personal accounts, why don't you set up another account, which all this business revenue will come into one account and you draw a director fees yourself. That means you pump in per month 3,000 or 5,000 a month to your personal account. So these are business expenses, these are your personal expenses. So now you start calculating how much is your monthly expenses. Let's say your monthly expenses is 4,000, then you give yourself 5,000 as a starter. So just to take care of your personal expenses. Then the business will have different revenue coming in, right? So now you have a steady income already, 4,000. So the next step, now an employee, okay? When they receive a salary, what do?
Pay all the commitments.
Before they receive the net income, the company will deduct their EPF, right? 13% employer, 11% employee, right? That is an employee, right? Now you are a freelancer. You are actually as an employee of your own company, right? You are a director or an employee of your own company. So now you are drawing 4,000 a month. Aren't you need to contribute EPF as well? So it's also 13% and 11%, so it's 24%. But this 24% also your money, right? 13 and 11 also your own money. So KWSP actually allows you to, as an employer, as a freelancer, you allow not to contribute EPF. But in your mind, you know, if I want to retire, I need to save money for retirement, so I need to contribute EPF. So use the same portion, 24% of your salary, but put it to your ALS or ALL. Okay, ALS or ALL, so that you create a small savings in the EPF, you create your own EPF. So this 24%, imagine 4,000 times 24%, how much? It's 800 plus. 800 plus a month, it becomes what? 10,000 of policy, 10,000 worth of policy. 10,000 worth of policy can design a good coverage plus the good savings for them to retire. So EPF only have one function, which is retirement. There's no coverage. Your private pension scheme, right? Private pension scheme has got retirement objective and your coverage. Okay, so which one do you choose? And by the time next year, okay, now you want to create more activities from the customer. So next year, you change car, bigger commitment, you need to draw in a higher salary, right? So now when they draw 5,000, previously 4,000, now 5,000. 5,000 and 24, you get 1,000 plus. So you got additional 200 to top up their plans. Understand me now? So when they start with 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, every year you have got top-up plans. Enough funds, surplus to buy new policy from you. So one customer, if you tackle and then you grow with them, you will have continuous policy top-up. Understand me now? And that 24% is bigger. How many of you actually contribute, save 24% of your money? No need to retire, man. Or you foresee you will become an agency manager that earn passive income? Huh? Haven't yet. Okay, you know how much to retire or not? Do you know your retirement numbers or not? Have you calculated your retirement numbers? Retirement numbers means upon retirement where you call a stop to your earning, you have enough periodic income to sustain your lifestyle, right? So doctors, lawyers, they have very high lifestyle, right? You imagine upon 60 years old how much they need to maintain their lifestyle. And all these doctors, lawyers, a lot of them, they don't have EPF on. I can tell you a true story where, our signboard, it says wealth advisory, UPG wealth advisory. So one day I received a call, I said, I want to inquire on retirement scheme. So it's a doctor. They passed by and then saw and then called. Third day I said, okay, I'll come and see you. So when I go there, first thing I said, I don't want to buy insurance. I have law insurance, they don't buy insurance. Because they know that she knows that I'm from AIA. Okay? I said, oh, no, we talk about retirement. So after I do the full set of retirement reports, okay? Full set including of their net worth, their cash flows, their liabilities, whatever, and then their retirement goals. So it came up to her goal, because her conditions, her concern is I have do a lot of investments, but I'm not sure if until the day I retire, it will be enough for me to retire, because she doesn't know the time value money. Okay, because she's scared of inflation and everything. So when I present the whole thing, we found out that doctors, previously government actually asked them to close down all their companies. They cannot set up Sdn Bhd because they said that it's a practice, you cannot have Sdn Bhd. So they have to pay back all the taxes. And a lot of doctors, when they have Sdn Bhd, they have actually contributed EPF for themselves. When they close down their Sdn Bhd, they stop the EPF. So we realized that the doctors also stopped the 23%. So after that, after I present everything, she needs about 2 million extra. 2 million extra to achieve the goal. So after that, we propose something and then we ask her to resume back the 24%, but do it privately. So end up that case, I closed 166,000 premium. Okay? Just by talking about retirement, show her the numbers. So it was, this is how I designed for her. I said, look, it was a mixture of A enriched gold and A enriched gold and A life link. A enriched gold and A life link. So I told her we have 2 expenses upon retirement. One part of expenses is the fixed expenses where we need to pay our utilities, our food and everything. So that one cannot be. So you have to use the periodic income. Okay? Another part is our luxurious expenses. Go travel lah, buy gifts for our grandchildren lah, ang pao lah, this and that lah. Okay? All this you can adjust one lah. If you don't have enough, don't go overseas or just stay in Malaysia. So this one can adjust one, we invest in funds. So a mixture of enriched gold and A-Life. And she buys the idea. So end up, she buy another 2 policies. Without, initially said I don't want to buy insurance policy, but end up she bought 2 policies. But with a different purpose. So this is very powerful, the 24% is very powerful. Start using this, okay? At least start using for yourself. I am doing this for myself. 24%, if not, I cannot retire. Or your APF, employees are getting 24%, your APF is only 1%. How to retire? Okay? Another one is MRTA versus MLTA, housing loans. This one a bit technical, so very quickly, how many of you sell mortgage insurance, liability cancellations? Hello? Don't have a? So I don't need to share this.
No need.
Okay, that's a method of giving you a free insurance. Free, believe or not, free insurance for your mortgage. Okay, let me show you. Okay, this MRTA versus NLTA, you know how to explain. Okay? I can send the slide to y'all. No need to take. Okay? Okay, free insurance. How many of you have EZ calculators? You know, right? EZ calculators. Okay. You can try this, huh? Okay, let's do a role play. Who is 35 and below? Joanne. Okay, let's take Joanne as a customer to role play. Assume you got a housing loans. Okay, let's assume Joanne has a 1 million housing loans. Okay, so of course want to buy MLTA right? MLTA or MLTA, right? But normally when you sell MLTA, how much premium do you sell? Age like Joanne.
She's 35 below.
35 below. Actually 300 plus 500 maybe can get already. Right? Okay? So this free insurance concept can get Joanne a free coverage, plus you can get a huge policy. Okay, let me show you how to do it. I'm selling using facts and figures. Okay, Joanne, so your 1 million coverage, your 1 million loans, when you use EZ calculators, right? I don't have the adapter, so I cannot show it here. You try to use EZ calculators, if everybody knows, how much is the total interest being charged? Okay, let's take 1 million loans. Okay, I use this. If you don't have EZ calculators, you don't know how to use, you can also use your Excel. Okay, you open the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. I cannot see. Yeah. But then I cannot see the Excel. Okay, is that calculator? Okay, interest rate 4.2 4.4 lah. 30 years, 35 years Okay. Okay. Okay, go to Excel spreadsheet. Actually, use this is better because you apps customers don't really believe the numbers. Use a normal Excel spreadsheet. How many of you know how to use Excel spreadsheet to do housing loans? Okay, you open the Excel spreadsheets. You go to sheet 1, 2, or 3. You right click. There's an insert. You click insert. There's a spreadsheet solutions. You click loan amortizations. So this is a loan calculator. Okay. Every Excel got. Okay, so let's try 1 million of 1 million of loans, interest rate let's say 4.4. Loan period 35 years. Number of payments 12. Start date. Okay, so you see a lot of numbers here, right? Meaning to say, Joanne has to pay 4,670 as her monthly installment. How much total interest is she going to pay for 35 years? 961,000, almost another house, right? So no way people want to pay this interest, right? Okay, so the only way to reduce the interest is what? Pay more to your installment, no? Pay advance into your housing loan, no? So, if let's say Joanne pay extra 500 ringgit a month, she would have reduced the interest to 744,000, which is 200,000 safe, right? Okay? So look, let me interview Joanne. Joanne, so 961,000 Is it a lot? Do you want to pay? No, right? So, of course, you got money, you want to shorten it, right? Okay. How long would you want to shorten your installment? Can we take half? Maybe 20 years? 20 years is just nice for retirement, right? Okay, let's do 20 years. So as you finish your loans in 20 years, that means you take a loan of 20 years, the annual. So your installment now becomes 6272, right? 6272, and your total interest is 500,000, right? That means you save 400 over 1,000 interest. Okay, but can you accept that your loans is 20 years? That means bank said, oh, I cannot approve your loans 35 years. Only can approve you 20 years of loans. Yeah? 6,272, right? Okay? So 6,272 minus, let's say Joanne said, okay, Ken, I want to save interest. I finished my loan in 20 years, which a lot of people want to do it. Okay? They got money, they dump in and then they shorten so that they save more interest. Right? Some businessmen even park the whole thing there. Right? Okay, so this is how you do it. 6,272 per month. Let's say Joanne said, okay, I can pay this. Then you can close a big deal already and get a coverage, full coverage, free coverage for Joanne. So how to do it? So 6,272 minus the original, if 35 years, is 4,670, right? 4,670, which means now the original loan 35 years, Joanne pays 1,603 ringgit to the loans. So the loans also finish in 240 months, right? And the total interest is still 500,000, right? That means it's also equivalent to take a 20 years loan, right? Okay? So now 1,603. If Joanne bumps into the housing loans, she needs to buy another insurance, right? Right. Okay? Now you advise Joanne to use this 1,603 to put in your A-Life signature. Either A-Life link or A-Life signature. I show you A-Life link first. Okay? So 1,603 times 12, how much is it? 19,236. Must show the exact figure one. Only customer will believe you. Okay? 19236. You take this number, you divide by 4. So it's 4809. Okay, 4809. Can someone open up your iPost? This may take a bit longer, but I think this is a good idea to close mortgage. You're hungry, you know?
Yes.
Hungry, dear. I come next time.
Okay. Already broke.
Huh?
You open it.
Okay. A-Life Link 1 million coverage, and then regular you put that 4809. Joanne's age, huh?
35, right?
35.
Joanne 35 years old.
A-Life link only.
We use A-Life Link first, then we try A-Life signature.
Right?
Yes.
How much the premium?
4806. 4809 regular.
What is your regular?
And then the A7 part is times 3. Huh? Wait, let me.
So 19,233.
Correct. 19,233, which is equivalent to the extra payment that Joanne want to pay to the loan, right?
Okay.
Okay, generate.
Cash value. You want to see the cash value?
Yes,
What year?
at 20 years.
20 years, 663, 100.
663,
100.
100, huh? Let's see. Now, this 1603, no more in housing loan, do you mind? Because go into A Life link already, right?
Yeah.
So, no more. Okay? So, now this, you look at the outstanding balance, right? This is how the outstanding balance will go. So, you see, when Joanne pays 4,670, only 1,000 go to principal and the rest go to interest. That's generally a lot of interest. Okay? So, now, at 240 months, which is 20 years, right? Let's look at 20 years, 240 months. What is the outstanding balance? 614. Is it enough from the A-Life link? Is it enough? Can you partially withdraw the 640,000 and pay off the housing loans? So 20 years, you still pay off your housing loans and you still own a policy or A-Life link and get a protection of 1 million. You understand me now? It's two options. It's either you surrender the whole policy, you get 600,000 from A-Life link to pay your housing loans at 20 years. Right? Then, after you pay all the housing loan, the remaining interest no more anymore. At the end, you still save. Is as good, is actually equivalent to you take a tenure of 20 years loans. But now Joanne earns a 1 million coverage throughout these 20 years. Understand? So is it free? It's free, right? Other than free, it actually the insurance policy actually act as a backup funds for the housing loans. Why I say backup funds? You look at second year itself. How much is the cash value? Yeah. 31,000. 31,000 equivalent to how many months of the installment? Almost 7 months, right?
8 months.
7, 8 months. So second hand itself, it generates 8 months of contingency funds, backup funds for your housing loans. In case being retrenched or being, your business down, there's no cash flow to pay your housing loans, you can always partially withdraw your cash value to pay your housing loans. So it acts as a backup funds. Okay?
For investor, they say 5 years they want to sell the house already.
No problem. 5 years you want to sell the house, will you buy again?
Depends.
Investor is like that. I sell and buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, and then until I retire, I sell everything off, I retire. Right? So if you buy MRTA, what happens? Your MRTA will keep lapsing, lapse, and then buy a new one, and lapse again, buy the new one, lapse again. So you waste a lot of money in MRTA. So why don't you do a total gearing of your portfolio? Let's say your total gearing is, let's say 5 million. No matter how much you buy and sell, it's still kept at 5 million of liabilities. So this 5 million, then you must have something to cover. Because properties, if you don't have insurance to cover, it is a liability. It is not an asset. Only if you have an insurance coverage, then that turns into an asset. So you use that total gearing. I don't care how many properties in between is buy, sell. I only insured the borrower 5 million. So upon retirement, you take all the money and settle it. Okay? How will you understand this idea? Can follow up?
Yes.
Can I?
Okay.
So this can be the free insurance concept. Okay? It's proven now. I've used this concept to close some cases.
Question.
Yeah.
What is the challenges of the premium that they have to commit? How do you overcome that? Meaning to say,
They cannot pay 1,600 a month.
but the point here is for her to start off to create that, she has to pay about 20,000 premium per year.
Yes, yes,
That's for, she has to commit herself for the next 20 years.
yes. Okay, now the question is, okay, throw me questions as if you are a customer. I show you this idea already.
Because I've already have a loan commitment of 4,600.
Yes.
And I like your idea, but I need to fork up another 20,000
Yes.
to go forward for our
Yes. Okay. So now your concern is 20,000. I can pay this year, but I don't know next year. I don't know year after next.
Right.
It is a commitment of 20,000 a year for the next 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I understand your concern. Okay. That's why there's no sunny day every day, ma. Okay. That's why this plan is a very flexible plan. What I'm showing you now is just a guideline of 20 years pay off your loans. If 3 years later you said, my business is terrible, I cannot sustain. Okay, let's redo the calculation again. Now I drag to 25 years to finish your loan. No? So now I can reduce your policy as low as 150 a month. From 20,000 I can reduce to 150 a month. What's the commitment you're concerned of? This is using A-Life Link. A-Life signature, a bit difficult. So it is a very flexible plan where now your end has the intention to pay off, to save the 400,000 interest, right? So I give her a guideline how much you need to pay extra into the loan so that you can save the 400,000 interest. Understand? But Viren's concern is, how do I fork out 20,000 a year for the next 20 years? Now I solve the concerns by assuring Viren that the plan is flexible as such, where from 20,000 I can reduce to 18, I can reduce to 15, you know. But if you want to save the 400,000 interest, you must commit 20,000 a year. You can change monthly, or you can change quarterly, or you can change to half yearly, or even 1 year once. It's up to your choice. But per year, your commitments into the loan is extra 20,000. Understand? And then you'll be able to save your 400,000 of interest. Else you're going to pay 900,000, 961,000 interest. Okay? Okay? It's proven. I even present this to actuaries. My sister. She approves that it's a good idea. My sister is actuary, so she knows how to do calculation. Yeah.
What about they say the bankers say must buy MRTA in order
Okay,
to
must buy MRTA.
reduce the interest.
Bank Negara has rules that you cannot force the borrower to buy insurance. They can only attract you by giving you lower 0.1% of interest. Let me show you, is it wise to buy MRTA? First thing first, MRTA. How many of you agrees MRTA? Agrees to buy MRTA? That means, how many of you know how to sell a MRTA plan? AIA one. Okay, you see, a lot of people misunderstood MRTA. Okay, let me ask you a question. Then, okay, if I buy, okay, you see, when you buy MRTA, right? Banker always said you must buy MRTA. If it's 1 million, then if let's say you buy full tenure, that means 30 years of MRTA. It's going to cost you a lot, right? Okay. Let me just do a quick example. Okay, you see, if it's a 1 million loan, if I click 35 years, That means full tenure, 30 years, is 74,000 of premium. The total premium is 74,000. And the banker will say, never mind, you loan into your housing loan, then you pay lesser. You imagine 74,000, that means you take 1 million and 74,000. For 35 years, for 30 years, how much is your MRTA cost? 74 plus 59. 101,000 of MRTA and burn off like that. That is if you get a full tenure. Okay, full tenure looks like that. The coverage, anything happen, the sum assurance goes like that. Then you complain to the banker, I have 74,000 too much, just 10 years enough. The banker will advise you, never just take a 10 years. Okay? So how many of you think that the first 10 years is covered? If you take a 10 years MRTA. A lot of people will think that the first 10 years covered, 11 years, anything happens is on my own. Right? I tell you, the real calculation is like that. If I put a 10 years, from 74,000 reduced to 13,000 only, MRTA. Okay? But you look at the coverage. From 1 million to 100 to 0 in 10 years' time. Let's look at your housing loan outstanding balance. 1 million, 30 years. Let's say on the 5th year something happened. On the 5th year, 16 months. How much is your outstanding balance? 900,000. How much is your coverage? 658. You think you are covered? Worst thing is if you have things happen on the 9th year, 241,000 of coverage. 9th year, 108. You still have 820,000 of loans. How to pay off your loans? You understand or not? So MRTA, they will con you by telling it's cheap. You can pay a little bit of premium, then you can get cover for 10 years. They don't know what they are talking about, all the bankers. Okay? So that is not a full coverage. If you take 30 years of loans and 10 years of insurance. Okay, about that, 0.1%. John said, banker wants us to get the housing loans, MRTA, so that we can get 0.1%. Cheaper, right? First thing first. 0.1% means 4.3 law. Let's see 0.1%. For 30 years, what is the difference? 15,000 only. Reducing for 30 years. If you finish your loans in 20 years, it's only 10,000. Okay? If it's 15 years, it's only 7,000. That means they help you to save 10,000 only, but they sell you an MRTA that you're going to waste 100 over 1,000. Which one is more worth it in terms of cost? Many people don't know. Say, 0.1% lower, I must take the bank one. But if you look at the figures, it is so unwise to take MRT. And the worst part, Jesse.
But it is considered the same thing to take our obligation,
That is why you must take an effort to help your customers to become the negotiator. You work with bankers. I have my team of bankers that they already upfront knows that there's no insurance involved in their housing loans. I will pass case to them. So I have all the loans knowledge, how to approve loans, and then I connect, I'll submit to AIA and I'll submit to a few bankers. So now if the customers, if let's say Joel is my customers, okay, Bobby is the banker. If I allow Joel to meet his banker or Bobby, it becomes Bobby's customer. I cannot interfere anymore. But if Joel comes to me And I take the documents to Bobby. I say, Bobby, I have a customer, please process these loans. Alright? If Bobby try to, hanky-panky or what, and say, oh, cannot, must buy insurance, I'm so sorry, I got Jinhan some more. I got 14 banks to support me. So, my customer is my customer. So either you get the business or you don't get it at all. So you don't let bankers to tell you what to do.
Very good.
Understand me? Oh, so we are a businessman. You should help your customers to compare. So that's why you take more effort to learn. Go attend AIA housing loans training. You will learn how to process the housing loans, and you can actually negotiate with the bankers. Right? So for housing loans, you see my agency, there are a few agents that specialists do housing loans. They like to do housing loan because they don't like to ask people to buy insurance. Because when you do housing loans, you are doing favor for people. Right? You sell insurance, people are doing favor with you for you. That's people's mindset. So it's a natural thing to sign insurance. Once your loan approved, then you can sign insurance naturally. Okay? And do housing loans, AI housing loans, you earn a lot of money. The commission is huge. Okay, no more time already. Okay. Okay, I share last one, then I will end. Okay, I got a few more, which is this one is a free medical insurance for old folks, old people. Okay, this is the last one. How many of you are married here? Married. When you got married, did you do a wedding vow? Wedding vow. What's a wedding vow? Huh? Wedding vow. You know what is wedding vow, right? Okay. So this concept is very funny one. Okay, you can actually use this to entertain your customers and get business. So wedding vow is important for a marriage couple, right? Okay? So normally this is an international wedding vow, right? Okay, everybody knows about this, right? I take you to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forwards, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to cherish and to love, till death do us apart. Got problem or not this vow? Did y'all speak this vow to your wife or not? Huh? No, ladies are very innocent one. After when they heard the man say this, they automatically say, yes, I do. They never process the content one. They look at, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. It says what? No matter how I'll take care of you, right? But on the last line, what they said? Till death do us apart. I'll take care of you. They promise everything, okay? Until you change your surname and follow him. Then you say, yes, I do. But last they add on till death do us apart only. That means when I'm no longer around, you're on your own. Right? When now around, you're on your own, and I don't care, you have to take care of my children. Now you are in my surname. Understand or not? So ladies, those who haven't got married, make sure your fiance come with a wedding ring and an insurance policy. Right or not? So if the vow is with insurance policy, this is without insurance policy, then till death do us apart. If it's with insurance policy, you change the vow till for better, for worse, for richer, poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till your death, not mine. You understand me? No? As a man, you can assure, no matter how, with or without me, I will take care of you. Then the vow looks more comprehensive. Okay? Last one, marriage covenant program, Tabung Harapan. Ask your customer to create a Tabung Harapan between husband and wife, couples, right? Couples, the wife gives 500, save 500, the husband save 1,000. Always have to do this, then the wife will agree. Alright? If you half, they won't agree one. 500, 1,000, so buy ALS, ALSPO, then become a double harassment because you're going to retire together. You love each other, and then you want to retire together. So retire together, rich is important. So to wife, I'm fine because my husband will spend money in the double harassment in the family rather than go and drinking outside. For the husband, yes, my wife can contribute, at least no need me to contribute everything. Alright, so 500 and 1,000. You can close two deals in the ALS and ALSPO. And the last one is guarantee close case one, this one. Okay, you can forget everything. You can forget everything that I said, but you cannot forget this idea. 包你签单呢，包鱼 Abalone. Okay? Want to learn about this one? Yes. Get ready your camera. Okay? This one sure close. No matter you master it or don't master it, you show this one, sure close one. Of 12 years, I'm still searching on the best sales idea, and I thought this is a guaranteed close case one. Fair enough. Okay? So I think with that, I overrun in the meeting city. I hope you all learned something. If you don't understand the methods, you can always call me or call Jin Ha. I will pass the slide to him. Okay? Do we still do Q&A? No more. Over lunch, you can. I'll join you.